I spend a lot of time thinking about love. If it exists in the way I think it does, the way I want it to. Even as something I've encountered before, every time a part of me wonders if I'll be able to find it again. It's a curious thing, romantic love. Because with enough distance, space, and time, you start to question the purity of it. Everything you felt. Was it real? It's one of the emotions I have the most trouble remembering. It's so potent, so intoxicating, yet I seem only able to feel it again upon recognition. Like wiping off a dusty mirror and realizing, you've been here all along. Hello, old friend. Sounds crazy, but sometimes I wonder if my life is simply extended periods of distraction in between chapters of honest connection. Like in those moments of relationship, I have a direct line to the truth, a quarter-inch jack plugged into the interface of the universe. Finding you is a high unlike anything else, and losing you makes me question if the rest of this means anything at all. I've brushed up against you a handful of times, at least. I think I did. Maybe a little less flashy than you were in the old days, but I could recognize you anywhere. I've caught glimpses of you over the last few years, in Querétaro and Sayulita, taunting me, seemingly right around the corner, yet just out of reach. It's been a while since I've truly seen you. I wonder if you still exist for me in the way you used to. If I'm still capable of feeling like I used to, giving like I used to, freely, unabashedly, sin miedo. But I'm not convinced, and that might be a good thing. Maybe it's a sign I'm growing up. Because when I was younger, you were like star power. We were invincible. The rough edges of life seemed to smooth out a little, glimmer even. And for a time, nothing else much mattered, until I lost you. I'd crash and burn so hard I bet you couldn't hear my heartbeat. I'm better now, even if, admittedly, a little nostalgic for our old days. But fantasies are meant for day jobs and daydreams, a place to strive toward, not inhabit forever. Which is what makes ideas around you so treacherous. We're all aiming towards a goal that doesn't exist. With expectations this high, it's hard to be human. I'm not ready to give up on you yet, though, because when I see friends with something special, I wonder if I've been asking the wrong questions all along. Maybe love isn't something you find. Maybe it's something you create.
Because love is something I've been obsessed with for a long time, I wanted to dive into the research behind it. I was curious what it was, this thing that I saw that friends had and that seemed truly special and universal, and for some reason I couldn't find it myself. Diving into the research, one of the pieces of this entire puzzle that I found that completely changed my perspective is the fact that it's based on friendship and not the spark. For me, I was chasing the spark and then trying to make it last forever, and it turns out I had it backwards. The kind of love that makes people happiest isn't actually passionate love, it's companionate love. Love based less on passionate highs and lows and more on stable affection, mutual understanding, and commitment. Companionate love doesn't sound as much fun or as exciting as passionate love, but that's the point. Anything that burns that hot and that bright isn't supposed to last forever. The couples that reported back happiest, at least in this one study I looked at, that their relationship was more like a friendship, and that was somebody that they could laugh with, they could spend time with, they teased. It was this deep friendship and connection that made them happy more than the hot passion. And so for me, thinking about that helped me understand that relationships take time, which sounds silly and obvious, but I think this is where I get caught. Because when I'm dating, I want it perfect right away. I want it right now. I realized I want somebody who's gorgeous, who gets me, who's funny, who we have great rapport, just is all of the things right away. And I've been ignoring the fact that relationships take time to build. We've set expectations so high that it's actually almost impossible to find anyone who's a perfect match right away. Or even if they are, and things start off great, when that spark tends to fizzle a little bit or we get into our first big fight, then we judge them or we write them off because we figure, oh, this was supposed to be my soulmate and we're having difficulties, so obviously this wasn't meant to be. It's supposed to be happily ever after. I need to create more space to let this be messy, because love is messy. And I realized what I've been looking for is the finished product. And what I need to do is start looking for the prototype. I need to find someone who has similar priorities and similar mindset, these kind of core foundational pieces, and then give the rest of it kind of time to develop. And after time in some of my last relationships, when that spark has fizzled, I've then wondered what's wrong. Why doesn't this feel the same that it used to? And instead, it's this mindset shift into how do I deepen a friendship rather than how do I keep the spark alive? I realize that I've been coming at this from the wrong perspective. I haven't been asking the right questions. What I should be asking are, how can I find someone with these similar priorities? Not, how do I try to keep the spark alive? Because I've been wanting to start this as a sure thing, and that's not how love works. Instead, rather than trying to find somebody who I get excited by and I'm attracted to, and what I should be looking for is a good friend.
Our notions of romantic love are often shaped by movies we grew up watching. Fantasies crafted with story arcs and perfect endings. But we never get to see that part. The princess finally gets a chance to be with the prince, and the movie ends. And when I think about it like that, happily ever after seems like a cop-out. How did Belle and Beast actually make it work? It's the day-to-day ups and downs of love that I'm fascinated by. Because the amount of hard work, time, and sacrifice that's needed for a healthy relationship is never shown. And to me, that's where the magic is. What I'm realizing, though, is that if I'm waiting for perfect, I'll never find it. That at some point, love is a decision, a deliberate choice to throw yourself into the void, because it appears that what makes true love work is friendship. It's not about how fast you start, it's about how connected you finish. Less 50 Shades of Grey, more When Harry Met Sally. In the end, I know true love is actually what matters most. Because the most important predictors of late life happiness are stable relationships, and, especially, a long romantic partnership. And that's the part I've struggled with most so far in this life. It isn't falling in love, it's staying in it. So I've changed my attitude about what I want or need. What I should be looking for isn't fireworks, but friendship. Less sex, more sarcasm. I need to disconnect from the belief that they need to be everything all at once. And while I missed the whole hot light of falling in love as a young man, there's something exciting about love at this stage in my life. People are older, more interesting. They have stories to tell, lessons to teach. The uncertainty of falling in love is simply the price of admission. As a romantic, I want to believe happily ever after does exist. It just might take a little work to get there.